There have only been a small handful of mass shootings since the new legislation.
Although the number of shootings has been reduced drastically since the Port Arthur attack, these shootings include an attack at Monash University in Melbourne that left 2 dead and 5 injured in 2002, a farmer shooting and killing his wife, 3 children, and then himself in New South Wales in 2014, sometimes considered the only true mass shooting.
The attack came on the heels of a similar massacre in Scotland.
The Port Arthur massacre occurred just over 1 month after another horrifying mass shooting in Scotland. The Dunblane massacre took place at a primary school, where 16 young children and 1 teacher were slain. The 43-year-old shooter, a former scout leader who had been removed from the program for questionable behavior, strapped on 4 guns and entered the Dunblane primary school gym. He began shooting at children and teachers, some at point-blank range, killing over a dozen before putting a gun in his mouth and killing himself. The incident had a similar outcome to the attack in Australia, with strict gun laws being put into place in the UK after Dunblane parents vocally fought for new legislation.
There are still legal guns in Australia. They are just much harder to get.
In a country of 8 million people, there are approximately 75 million registered firearms and 730,000 licensed owners. Just like America, they have gun shops, but the process of legally applying to own a weapon and purchasing one is much harder. The requirements for applying for a gun license, besides providing a reason that you need the gun, include being 18 or older, being judged as a fit and proper person, undergoing a firearms safety training course, and providing documentation about the storage arrangements in which you will secure the firearm. You can be denied a license if you are under 18, subject to an apprehended violence order, or at any time in the previous 10 years have been subject to an order unless the order was revoked, subject to a good behavior bond to an offense prescribed by the regulations, or have been convicted in the previous 10 years in the current or another state/territory of an offense prescribed by the regulations.
Gun-related suicides decreased after the reforms by 74%.
Former Prime Minister John Howard addressed the nation just before the 20th anniversary of the tragic event. He mourned the loss of the 35 victims, but pointed out that the gun laws that became a huge part of his legacy had been very effective at preventing further tragedies. He cited the drop in the gun-related suicide rate as one of the strongest pieces of evidence, a rate which had gone down around 74%.
The NRA got involved and sparked a contentious debate.
When America's National Rifle Association saw what was happening in Australia, they perceived it as a potential threat to American gun sales. They fought back with an article titled "Australia, There Will Be Blood." They argued that because guns had been taken away from Australian citizens, the people were left defenseless. However, all statistics gathered post-Port Arthur disproved that claim. What's more, Australians were still able to legally own firearms with the proper permits, and those who owned the automatic and semi-automatic guns that had been made illegal were able to sell them to the government in the Buyback scheme. One pop culture site wrote an article in response to the NRA piece. It was titled, "The NRA Reckons Australia's Anti-Gun Laws Are a Mistake. Australia Tells NRA to Go F***CK Itself."
After the attack, a massive firearms buyback program was launched across Australia.
John Howard, Australia's Prime Minister at the time of the attack, had only been in office for 57 days. Prior to his election, his political party had been the opposition party in Australian government for 13 years. To say his decision to introduce strict new gun legislation was met with resistance might be putting it mildly. Over 3,000 people who opposed the new laws showed up at a public address to express their opinions, and Howard wore a bulletproof vest. Even with the opposition to the restrictions, however, the new gun control laws passed within weeks. They included a national firearm registry, a 28-day waiting period for gun purchases, background checks, the requirement of a justifiable reason for wanting a gun, and a massive temporary buyback program. By 2015, more than 1 million semi-automatic weapons, roughly a third of the country's firearms, were sold back to the government and destroyed. The BBC reported that these measures essentially cut the number of gun-owning households in Australia in half.
Bryant is now serving 35 life sentences and more than 1,000 years without parole.
Martin Bryant was given 35 life sentences, including 35 years without parole, and is now serving his time in the Risdon prison complex, Hobart, Tasmania. Since 1996, he has reportedly assaulted more than 4 people in the prison, including guards, and has shown no tangible character development or exercise of critical thinking since his pre-mass murder days. ICE interviewed a staff member from the Australia Ethics Centre in 2016 and reported that Bryant was morbidly obese, in a depressed mental state, and has tried to kill himself more than once.
Bryant ate lunch at a cafe with his bag full of guns by his side.
Martin Bryant had eaten lunch at the Broad Arrow Cafe at the Port Arthur Historic Site just before he went on his rampage. He would have appeared to be just another customer eating among the locals and tourists, carrying his large sports bag, which just happened to be full of firearms and ammo. After he was done eating, he stood up, pulled a gun out of the bag, and began shooting. It was inside the Broad Arrow Cafe where a large percentage of the casualties occurred.
He took a hostage and had an 18-hour standoff with police.
The killing didn't stop at the Port Arthur Historic Site. As Bryant left the scene in his car, he managed to take a man hostage and brought him back to the Seascape B&B where his rampage began earlier that day. Bryant was holed up here for 18 hours, with the police attempting to draw him out. Every time they would advance toward the inn, Bryant would fire at them. They decided they needed assistance, so they called in a bulldozer. They didn't end up needing it. Bryant lit the house on fire and soon ran outside with his clothes on fire and burns on his body that required hospitalization.
Martin Bryant opened fire at a popular tourist destination, killing 35 people.
On April 28, 1996, Martin Bryant drove his yellow Volvo with a surfboard strapped to the top to the historic site of Port Arthur, Tasmania. He had already killed 2 people, the owners of a nearby B&B. The former penal colony, now a tourist attraction, was full of visitors. Bryant was carrying a sports bag of guns and ammunition and began firing at them with a semi-automatic rifle, first in a cafe, then the gift shop and parking lot. He shot a mother and her 2 daughters, aged 6 and 3, as they were attempting to escape by going down a side street. Bryant then shot 4 people in a passing car before taking a hostage and going back to the B&B.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care. Bye.